They stole my car. My job sucks. Nobody helps me. And I never catch a break. Do these sound familiar to you? Well, let me tell you something. Victimhood has a greatest hits album, and I knew every word. But eventually, Spirit whispered in my ear, "With me, you're not powerless, baby. You're just rehearsing the wrong script." Let's face it, sometimes life gets too real, and we gotta laugh in order to keep from crying. So today, we're gonna tell the truth and get higher powered on A Spiritual Remedy. Hello, beloveds, and welcome to A Spiritual Remedy, where sobriety meets spiritual awakening and we remember who we really are. Today, I want to talk about something tender yet powerful, and that is moving from victimhood into the next stage of spiritual maturity, from life happens to me to life happens by me. So let's take a breath for a moment and breathe that in. Is that even possible? You see, victimhood is often the starting point for many people in recovery. I mean, when I first got sober, I had stories like, I live in a neighborhood where it's easy to use, or this job is so depressing. Or I would say stuff like, if I had money like you did. Yeah, I mean, I blamed my parents, I blamed my ex, my childhood, my neighborhood, my boss. I blamed the liquor store on the corner. And listen, I had reasons. I had real pain, but I also had a choice. I could either stay stuck or start shifting. And in spiritual development and unfoldment, we talk about 4 stages of consciousness. And the way Michael Beckwith teaches it, he says this: the first stage is life happens to me, and that is the victim stage. And we have to release certain things in order to move into stage 2, where life happens by me. I am a conscious creator. You may have heard a lot of people talk about manifesting and creating stuff, right? That's stage 2. Stage 3 is life happens through me. That's where we release certain things and we become a channel, a vessel in which spirit works and lives through us. And then the fourth stage is life happens as me, where I actually embody divine presence and I recognize that there is no separation between my life and the life of spirit. Like, this is like the ultimate so far in our consciousness and awareness of where we want to be. So today we're simply going to focus on that first leap of from life happens to me to life happens by me. And this is a courageous move because this is where real freedom begins. Like, don't try to jump from stage 1 to stage 4 because that's spiritual bypass, and that's a whole nother talk show and another conversation for another time. What I can tell you about me, though, is in my own recovery, I didn't wake up one day and stop blaming people. I'd like to think that that's what happened, but that's not what happened. It came through doing a 4th and 5th step, through hard conversations with my guides and sober friends who loved me enough to tell me the truth. And it also happened through deep reflection where I got to ask myself, am I depressing the job, or is the job depressing? Ooh, ouch. Am I being unfair, or is the world just unfair to me? And by slowing down and asking myself those kinds of questions, I realized I was choosing to stay a victim long after the circumstances had changed. And here's what I've learned is that we don't move out of victimhood by force. Otherwise, we become a victim to that, right? We move through and we move out of victimhood with honesty, with awareness, and with the willingness to see things differently. It reminds me of A Course of Miracles, that becomes a prayer. How can I see things differently? I'm willing to see things differently. So here are a couple of spiritual practices that help me shift out of blame into creating a life that I crave, a sober life that was worth living sober. Now, each night or every time after I had a tough time, and of course, this didn't happen every single night, but this became part of a practice. I asked myself, what thought am I thinking that keeps me small? What is the thought that I am thinking that keeps me small? And I would journal about it. I'd write it down. I'd talk it out, to myself. And what am I willing to see differently? That was quite profound because I noticed some things about myself, my self-talk, the thoughts that I was having that kept me small. But then I switched that up. I switched that up to reminding myself and letting myself know that I was willing to change. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to be free. I'm willing to change and I'm willing to be free. And I had to talk it out, write it out. I had to, write it down and put it on a piece of Post-it note and stick it by the door. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to be free. I'm willing to have different thoughts that don't keep me so small, thoughts of living the life that I wanted to live. Now, here's another spiritual practice that you can engage in that will help you to come to some awarenesses about who you are and what you're thinking and the things you can change and the things that you can't change. On a sheet of paper, just draw a circle. And inside of the circle, write down everything you can change. Your thinking, your response, your next steps, right? And on the outside of the circle, write down the things you can't change. Like you can't change other people. You can't change the past. You can't even change the price of eggs. Right? Now, when you look at this, it's the internal things, the things in the circle that you can change. That's where your focus is. That's where the bullseye is. That's what you focus on. The things outside of you, you cannot change. So let that be. This helps you to stop fighting what you can't control, and it empowers you to act on where you can. Now, here's the thing. Think of the things that are stressing you out, the things that are causing you angst. The question is there something I can do to change it? And if the answer is yes, then write out a plan to change it. If the answer is no, learn to let it go. It sounds simple. It can be simple, but it helps us to focus on the things that we can change. And remind yourself, I'm the thinker of my thoughts. Somebody else is not the thinker of my thoughts. I'm the thinker of my thoughts, and I am the chooser of my path. Now, you don't have to leap from life happens to me to life happens as me. That's not today's journey. Today, we're just taking this small, brave step. We're owning our part in staying in victimhood. We're shifting our thinking and we're creating some new outcomes. Now, remember, this is not about blame. This is about freedom. And you're not wrong for thinking like a victim. You're just not made to live there forever. It is not your forever location. That's not your hood. Victimhood is not your neighborhood. So if you're still blaming, pause. Just pause. What's one thing that I can change today? Because even the smallest shift matters. And remember that Spirit is not doing it for you. Spirit is living as you. You're not alone. You're not broken. You are powerful. You are whole, perfect, and complete. And with each shift that you make, you become increasingly more and more free with every breath. This is how I began in my spiritual maturity, in the stages of consciousness, and how today I get to live happy, joyous, and free. This has been a spiritual remedy. My name is Sunshine Daye, and until the next time, live joyfully, live boldly, and create a life that reflects your joy. See you on the other side.